Hey guys, welcome to podcast number 5, I think, especially because I counted my spring summer knitting as podcast number 4. So welcome to podcast number 5. My name's Caidree. I run the Enchanted Fibers YouTube channel, which has been extremely inactive for quite a while, since May. Regardless, I'm back and I'm trying to stay. And this channel in general will just be about knitting things, whatever floats my boat in terms of knitting. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely feel free to watch this video. This will be a standard podcast video. I will talk about the agenda next, and let's go. Okay, so the agenda for my video today is going to be touching base on my last video, which was May 27th, 2023. It's been a while, but I have really good reasons. I'm in a boot camp course that's going to go until the end of December, and I find that that's keeping me quite busy alongside like working full time. And then the summer has been, I'm sure just like everyone else's, but it's been crazy. Like every weekend something is going on, and it's kind of just been go, go, go. And then now summer's kind of almost over, which is kind of sad. So I might even have to start thinking about a fall planning video. I know a lot of people have already kind of been doing it. We'll see though, because I am finding it really hard to balance making videos and the boot camp and then work and then life right now. So yeah, I'm gonna do something I don't think I've seen before, and that is essentially a quick run through of what I had on my spring summer knitting planning video, like which patterns I mentioned, and then I guess talking about did I achieve it. And this is gonna be, I would say, quick, but just so I can, acknowledge, address that I did not accomplish a lot. But I blame school, to be honest. I really do blame school, and I blame gift knitting, which later I'm going to talk about a gift I made, and I don't have any footage. I mean, I have pictures, but I did not even think to take a video, and I just gave it yesterday. So the good thing is it was to my mom, so I'll be able to get a video in the future. I just won't be able to get one right now. But yeah, let's wrap up the spring summer knitting, because at this point we are going into fall. Although I am going to keep doing summer knitting a bit longer, because I just feel like the weather is going to stick around, and yeah, it's going to stick around, so might as well. I'm not ready to make a sweater. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I think what I'll do is I'll say the name of the pattern, and then on screen I want to put a little ding check mark or something like that, just to acknowledge, or next, just to acknowledge whether or not I've done anything. And then I'll actually get into the main podcast, which will be talking about my works in progress, patterns or projects I've finished, gift knitting, because I know in my last video or the second last video I mentioned about 2 projects that I knew were going to happen, and they've both been done. And then is there anything else? Acquisitions, but honestly not much in terms of acquisitions, unless I just forgot I bought something, which is possible. Or actually, I lie. Okay, anyways, acquisitions, and I did fix 2 items that I've had for a while now, so I will just quickly show those. I'm not going to do a whole spiel. So yeah, okay. Let's go through this list. May's jacket, Evelyn top, another lace tie-up, Soho top, 9 p.m. tank, your everyday tank, Daisy chunky bra, Nimbus, Montpellier top, CÉCILE top, Camisole number 4, Farfa top, Mohair Gallant sweater, and the classic tee. I know that went really quickly. I also know I did not say who they were by, but they're in my last video. So if you're curious, I do go into a lot of depth in terms of the patterns, and and my yarn plans. I think I talk about what yarn I wanted to use. So yeah, that was quick. I know it was. I just wanted to address. Essentially, I've only done like 1.5 things on my spring summer knitting list, and you know, out of quick math here, but I don't feel like counting. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 14. So 2 out of 14. So it's not great, but I feel like it's kind of realistic in terms of life just gets in the way. But yeah, so the 2 that I did, well, the Montpellier top I did complete, and then the Soho top is on my needles right now. I'm just doing I-cord bind-offs on the, not even I-cord, it's like an I-cord edging on the armholes, and I have to frog one of them because I did do what the pattern said, but I can already, it's just like flaring weirdly, so I'm gonna have to do, anyways. Actually, so yeah, I just mentioned the Soho top. So this Soho top is by Caidree, and I'm knitting the size 3. The yarn I'm using is Bendigo Woolen Mills. The yarn name is Cotton Crush, and the colorway is Sandcastle. Last time I checked, it's not on the site anymore, but essentially it's an Australian producer, and I found the prices really reasonable. Acorn Knits recommended them, but I think she's actually from Australia. So I'm in Canada, and I thought it was like flat rate shipping for $15 Canadian. And then the prices were super manageable, and there was no duties. So I'll definitely like keep it in mind. Although it's hard because you kind of just want to try all the yarns. You don't just want to keep ordering the same yarn, typically. But anyways, yeah, so when I last spoke about this, it didn't exist. It was not even existing. So this is actually this armhole here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but it's really, honestly, it's really, there's just too many stitches, and the I-cord edge is like really flary, and essentially it just looks like wavy, which I don't like. And I really, for example, love the neckline, which does not look wavy, so that gives me an idea of, okay, it should look like this. So I did this correctly. This, I sadly have to frog. So actually, I didn't even sew it in because I had a feeling. Like as I was making it, I'm like, this doesn't look good, but I'm just gonna finish it and see. And I thought, okay, well, could I block it out? But honestly, I don't want the armholes like down to here. I do kind of want them to cover my bra if I do wear one, or like a strapless or something to that effect. So I'm gonna frog this edging and then just redo both and then do the same thing for both. But yeah, sorry, this is it. Trying to see, I'm using my iPhone to film, but the viewfinder is on the other side. So I set up a mirror, but then my tripod is still blocking most of it. But yeah, this is it. This is front, or actually, to be honest, I have no idea what the front is. So this is potentially the front, this is potentially the back. It is garter stitch, but just based on the edging, oh my gosh, wait. I don't even know what the right side is. Let me just see. Oh. I actually think this is the right side. So yeah, anyways, same idea. It's around here. I don't know if you think you can see. It's gonna sit around here on me. So it's pretty much sitting above my belly button. I just knit it to pattern. I actually didn't adjust anything except the yarn part. So when I initially picked this yarn for this pattern, I thought it would meet gauge, but I realized pretty quickly that you're holding 2 fingering yarns together to meet a worsted weight gauge. So obviously this cotton yarn is fingering. However, it's cotton. Like there's no draping material. Let me just see what Caidree uses. She uses Purl Soho Sweetgrass, and it is, okay, so it's 65 cotton, 35 alpaca, or camelid alpaca. Just knowing alpaca, I mean, if you know yarn, you know this, it's going to be more drapey, whereas I feel like cotton is not known for being drapey. So I definitely think that that's a factor, because obviously this is a fingering weight. I mean, you could just tell by looking at it, it's a fingering weight. So I did hold the yarn double. I tried to do a gauge swatch. I think it meant gauge, but the fabric was so dense. I just knew there's absolutely no way that this is going to drape the way I wanted to, nor will it drape the way Caidree's top does. I'm just looking at her picture and it's so nice. But anyways, I did use, I'll just hold this up just for visuals. I did use 3.5mm needles for this one. The pattern actually calls for 4mm needles. So honestly, the crazy part is like it's drapey because I knit it with the yarn held single versus double. I didn't have to change the needle size much to actually meet gauge, which is pretty interesting because it's like, I mean, I will never know unless I try the Purl Soho sweetgrass yarn, but I wonder if it's like a thinner fingering than this Bendigo Woolen Mills one. We'll never know, but I just somehow did meet gauge on 3.5mm versus 4mm. And I would say my only regret, and that is in general with just buying this yarn, this Sandcastle yarn, I really didn't think about the fact that it's my skin color. Like there's not really, this is me tan, by the way, like it's been a whole summer. This is my tan. There's no tan. And then this is it against my skin tone. I just feel like it is pretty much my skin tone. But I think I'm actually gonna probably try to do an outfit when it's done like Caidree, where I wear black pants with it and maybe like a black blazer, and then evaluate, because maybe if it's contrasted with something darker that's not my skin tone, it might be fine. I won't really know until it's officially finished, and I block it because I'm curious to see how blocking like affects attention, if it does anything at all, who knows. But I'm dying to finish this just so I can like move on. And it has taken a while because it's not held double. I think if I was knitting at a worsted weight gauge, this would have gone a lot faster. Which actually, on that note, I wouldn't mind knitting this again, but just with either a worsted weight yarn that's like super drapey, or a fingering yarn held double that is also drapey, whichever thing happens first. But I actually would totally knit this again. The only note to make is like when you see garter, well, it depends if it's in the round or if it's flat, but like garter flat, you're just stuck in knitting back and forth, right? But garter in the round, it's knitting and purling. So there's been a lot of knitting and purling with this one, but I did it. So I did the body and I did the I-cord bind off on the, I'm probably so far from you guys. I did the I-cord bind off on the hem and the neckline. So it's just the armholes, and then I can officially call this a finished object. So I'm gonna move this one to the side now because I got a lot on my table that I don't think you can see. So another pattern I spoke about, but this was not in my spring summer knitting planning. This was in podcast number 3, was the Giselle blouse by Fabel Knitwear. It's pretty crazy because as April, I checked the day I posted that video, which means I filmed before I posted it. April 9th, it's August 20th, May, June, July, August. 4 months ago. I've barely made any progress. However, I honestly just picked this up like a week ago. So I did not work on it like the whole time, probably ever since that video. And then I really recently, oh my God, really recently started hustling, and I'm almost at the point where I can decrease on the sleeves. You essentially you decrease around the elbow and then you do a flare, but it's like a 3/4, kind of like a 3/4 sleeve. You do flare, and then I have to get the organza, which is, I think I tie around the elbow, or I sew it in. I don't even know. I haven't gotten that far into pattern, but anyways, I'm almost done the one sleeve, which is at least a bit exciting. So it's looking like this. Hopefully, yeah. So this is the sleeve. So obviously, the Mohair sleeve is just really satisfying to look at, and it's a little bit glittery, and I'm feeling a bit more motivated because I just feel like this is not as much of a summer top as it is maybe a fall or like a going out situation versus like an everyday situation. But yeah, this is it. So I know in my last video I mentioned my hands were hurting, and it hasn't been as bad right now. It doesn't mean it's not going to sneak up on me, but maybe because I took a really long break. It is on 3.5 millimeters is that I'm knitting the sleeve on, and then I mean the body, I think I had it finished last time we spoke, or the other time we spoke. So the body hasn't changed except for, pretty sure I mentioned this in my last video, but I tried to not follow the pattern for the way you bind off the straps and the way you shape the straps. And I didn't follow the pattern because I second guessed it, and it was just wrong. It's the wrong choice. So what I'll have to do after I finish the sleeve, I'm gonna pretty much frog this strap that I did wrong, and then which honestly it won't take very long to just reknit that. Then I'll sew these together, and then I'll be able to start the second mohair sleeve, and hopefully I will finish this in 2023. That would be good. So I am trying to focus on this one. I really want to get the Soho top done, because in that way I feel like I can focus more on this one. And then I am going to Portugal in 2 weeks from this day, August 20th, the day I'm filming, and very excited. I'll probably take some videos. I don't know if I'm gonna do like a vlog, or I don't know if I'm capable of doing a vlog, but I'll at least take some clips and try to get some yarn content there. I am going to a yarn festival too. I don't even know the name, but I gotta look that up and just make sure it's still happening. But anyways, okay. I'm already so parched, and this is two patterns so far. By the way, I am knitting a size extra small on this actually. I think it was just the way the pattern had the measurements. I just thought was the way it worked, but usually I would say I'm more of a small. And then I did do some modifications. I think I made the neckline a bit lower just so it sits around here. And on that note, I need to talk about this, but sits around here, sorry. And then I think I have it around like a high-waisted area, because that's usually what I wear. I just find it the most flattering. Was there anything else? I think that's it for this one. I'm gonna drink some water because I am feeling a bit parched. I guess a couple disclaimers that I should have mentioned earlier. Wow, I'm so rusty at doing this, but okay, so I'm going to any sort of like nitty-gritty information like designer, if I don't mention it, yarn I used, yardage, I'm going to put that on the bottom of the screen, and I'll be putting images of the items unless I'm holding it up. That's a little bit conflicting, but I acknowledge that these are just whips as well, so we'll see. But I'll mostly be putting images. And is there anything else I'm forgetting? But yeah, essentially anything that I mention, I'll try to either put more information or put it in the description. And that's my one-time disclaimer on that. Especially because I'm not in the proper headspace right now to be organized. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but oh, I know why. Okay, so yeah, I mentioned I'm going to Portugal, and although I am trying to just get down to like one fingering weight project on the go, I don't think I want to bring this to Portugal because I'm worried about ruining the sleeves somehow, like just in the commuting, and that'll be when I'm knitting. So I'm going to start a new fingering weight project for that trip. I'll talk about that later, but that is just don't want to like leave you thinking I was lying. So okay, now there's like mohair all over on my feet, but I'm just gonna put this in my knitting bag. Okay, so I also mentioned this one, I think it was podcast number 3, cardigan number 6. I was knitting it until the end of winter. I got to a really good stopping point. But last time I spoke to you, I think I had only knit like this much of like the back panel. Now I have way more of a cardigan. It hasn't been blocked yet, so I feel like the lace will expand and open when I block it. But this is it. It honestly is like looking just like the picture. I did follow through with doing a double knit button band And honestly, although I had to kind of figure out how to do it because it wasn't in the pattern, very happy I did it because it just looks honestly really clean. And there's all this stuff on this. The only thing is I forgot to do the buttonholes. So I was supposed to do this button band, I think, a little bit different and leave buttonholes so that I can obviously put the buttons through. Now I don't have buttonholes, so now I'm gonna put this on, but now I don't know if I'm gonna force a buttonhole or if I'm going to, I don't know, maybe I don't even want buttons. Like honestly, am I gonna use the buttons? I might just leave it as a cardigan. But yeah, I essentially just finished the double knitting here, and that way all I have left to do is the sleeve. So it'll be an easy pickup point. Like once it starts to get cold again, I think I'll get really into this again, because for one, I thought the pattern was super fun. The lace pattern was really fun. Once I got the hang of it, it was just easy to memorize. And sorry, oh my god, there's like yarn in my mouth. Oh my god. Or here. Easy to memorize, and then it's like bulky weight, right? So let me just, supposed to be moving. Oh, her picture is so nice. I hope mine looks like that. I can definitely see why the buttons are nice to have. I just need to figure out, hey, actually, if you have any recommendations on afterthought buttonholes in a double knit button band, you can let me know. Because I'll have to do some research. I'm not sure what the deal with that. Anyways, you are knitting at a bulky gauge, so 15 stitches and 20 rows for 4 inches. So very, very quick knit. So satisfying, so fun. Highly recommend it. I honestly, looking at her picture makes me kind of excited to knit the sleeves. My only qualm, and I knew this was going to be the case no matter what, but this is like really itchy. So I'll probably have to be strategic with wearing things under it, like whether it's a V-neck long sleeve or something. So we'll see. It's quite itchy, but I haven't blocked it yet, so maybe it'll change. We'll find out. Another note is I guess I'm knitting the extras, but I do have it highlighted, so am I lying? See if there's just, it's in centimeters. Okay, assuming I'm not lying, I'm knitting the extra small in this one as well. And yeah, I guess that's it. Those are all my notes. Oh, and it's by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Very important. I am going to, sorry, yeah, I'm just gonna drop it. Okay, so the next section is gift knitting. So I think it was in my, I don't think it was in my spring summer knit planning video. I think it was in podcast number 3. And I talk about knitting Willums overalls, which is by Petite knit, for my sister, who at the time was pregnant. And then I spoke about knitting the Vertices Unite shawl as a present for my mom. I have actually done both of those. So the Vertices Unite shawl, that's what I forgot to get any sort of footage of, which I will eventually. Just as of right now, I don't know if I'll have it on time for posting this. But I will put a picture wherever it makes sense of it on the blocking board. So that's something. So you can still see what it looked like. It's just not me holding it. But I would say, honestly, it turned out great. I'm very happy with it. My mom's hard to read, but I think she liked it. And I won't really know until I see her wearing it. And I used a lot of really nice yarns for it. So I guess to talk about the Vertices Unite shawl first, I did knit the size small. So you have 2 sizes, small and large. It's modular, it's all fingering yarn. But weirdly, because it's done in the panels, it's very satisfying to do. I started this back in May. What date did I start it? I swear I put the dates in my, oh, there it is. May 6th, and then it was officially finished July 29th in my Ravelry. And I even have, yeah, the pictures of it on the blocking board in there for now. So I knit it on 3.5mm needles, and I used an assortment of fingering weight yarns, really nice ones. So let's see if I could get to, I swear the Ravelry page is not showing everything. But regardless, I used To be honest, okay, actually, I think I can remember. Okay, these are all messes. Like, they all started falling apart, which is really sad and kind of annoying. And I will have to fix it at some point, but for now, I am just carrying them around as they are broken. Like, I don't even know. So, this yellow colorway, which yarn people are gonna hate me for this, that it's like this, but I did cake it, but my caking thing is, the yarn winder is just not great. So, this colorway, which I swear I put in the time to put this in my Ravelry, and I don't know why I don't see it. Let me just double check and see if it's in my edit. Oh yeah, it's not there. Okay, wait. I did put it in my stash. I do know I put it in my stash. Let me just see. No. Really? Okay. I didn't put it. I swear I have like a memory of putting it in Ravelry and in my stash. But regardless, I even like figured out the colors. It's so annoying. Regardless, I believe that these two yarns I got on sale at the Needle Emporium in Ancaster, Ontario. And they were a Madeline, Tosh, and Shibui collaboration. And that's why I think they were on sale, because Shibui closed. So yeah, these are two that I used in the pattern. Now, freaking yarn everywhere. And then I got this like burnt. I'm really sorry that I don't have like the official names. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just put them on screen. But this like burnt orange colorway. This is Madeline Tosh, but like regular Madeline Tosh, no collaboration, and there was no sale. They all came with around like 400 meters. And then lastly, the one thing I really wanted to do, so I went to, in Bracebridge, there was a yarn festival. It was I want to say it was June, around the end of June. Let's just say end of June. I went to a yarn festival in Bracebridge, Ontario, and I really wanted to get a contrast yarn. So like all these colors, actually they're all messed up. So all those colors are like really warm, and I didn't want it to be like too hardcore warm. So I wanted to balance it with a cool tone, but I also really wanted it to like complement all the colors. So I went with this. It's actually called black, now that I remember. The colorway was called black, but it's like, I swear to you, it's like navy. It's not black. It looks blue. Hopefully it looks blue on camera too. You can see in the picture that I probably shared on the blocking boards. I don't know, there's just something really cool about it. Like, I just wanted it to like contrast, and I went for it. That was the part I was nervous about with my mom. I'm like, is there too much going on? But I mean, the whole point of the shawl is that it's colorful, and I do think mine turned out pretty cohesive. So, and also I put in like so much effort to make sure everything was perfect. Like, I did not half-ass anything in that shawl. So I really did my best, the best I could. So, rambling session over. I don't have it in here with me in person, and I will find out what yarn that is, like the name of the hand dyer. The issue is I put the label somewhere, didn't take a picture of it, and I just gotta find the label because I can't remember anymore. So Willums overalls by Petite. I knit those for my sister. I knit the 6-month size. I used Cascade 220 Superwash in this black colorway, which I found at Value Village. I used these really cute vintage buttons, and I did actually, before I gave it to her, I did take a video of me holding it, potentially talking about it, but definitely holding it. So I will insert that here. It's from ages ago at this point. These are the overalls, which I'll be giving to my sister. Sorry, let me, I'll be giving to my sister this coming Tuesday for her baby shower. So these are the Willums overalls by Petite Knit. Yeah, Petite Knit. So here, what's the best way to hold this? it's overalls. So I put these really cute vintage buttons that I got from my grandma. I tried a couple different buttons, and for some reason I just thought these were the cutest. As well, I sent pictures to my mom and my sister, like comparison pictures, and my mom at least voted for these ones. My sister voted for a brown set, which had like a cool texture, but for some reason, when I took a picture of it, it just didn't look right to me. And I feel like the camera tells the truth. Even if your eyes can't see it. So yeah, and then I did do a couple modifications, but I'll start with just trying to show everything. So this is obviously the front. It's a 1x1 ribbing at the top, and then the body and the legs. I did roll up the cuffs. I think technically they're supposed to be down. I'm going to let my sister, it's a 6-month size, so I'm going to let my sister figure it out when the time comes. Like if she wants to leave them rolled up, depending on how long his legs are, or if she wants to roll them down so that they go all the way to the foot, you know, whatever floats the boat or their boat. And then the back is, I did do the cross straps just like in the picture. This is really difficult to hold up, but it's a smaller 1x1 ribbing section after the body is knit. And then something kind of cool, like a cool detail, is that I might have done it slightly wrong, but essentially she has you knit a purl row and then fold it double, so you can even see like with the light shining through. I would say that this is a pretty tight knit, to be honest, but for whatever reason held up, or yeah, I guess if I just let it be normal, it's not see-through. But in that instance, when I did hold it up like this, you can kind of see. So I don't know. I would say it's a pretty tight knit. And what's cool about it is it's a Cascade 220 superwash in a black colorway that I got from the thrift store. And I guess what's cool about it is that you can machine wash it, so that's great for babies. And also, I think you can technically kind of stretch it out pretty well, especially after washing it. But then in general, I feel like it's a super stretchy yarn. So I think it'll be very forgiving if the baby gets a bit bigger. I'm sure that it'll stretch for a little bit. I don't know how long it'll stretch to fit him, but I think it'll stretch. So yeah, these are the overalls, and they are leaving me in a few days. So I wanted to get something on camera. And she really liked it. I think I gave it to them. It must have been like end of May. I feel like it was around the end of May. So, and then she went to Italy, and now, like literally like 2 or 3 days ago, she had her baby. So, and it's really cute. And it's really cool. Like, it's really hits differently when it's your sister who has a baby versus, I don't know, like another stranger. So it's pretty cute. I'm very happy for them. And yeah, I don't know. So she loved them. I haven't gotten a picture, but I mean, he was just born. And I did give the 6-month size. So I anticipate in the winter when it gets a little bit warmer, that's when maybe I'll get a picture. I said warmer. I meant colder. Okay. So something I think I spoke about in terms of being a... Oh, by the way, this is my finished object section. So something I spoke about being a want to make item, I believe podcast number 3, was the Gemma Polo. And I never shared any sort of... it wasn't in progress the last time I spoke to this phone. And I finished it. So I did finish this a while back. Let me just see. I know it's on my Ravelry because I really do try to keep it up to date, but not always. So I started it April 1st and I finished it June 5th. So that's 2 months. Pretty good. I really just wanted, so her, okay, it's a Gemma Polo by Cookie the Knitter, and it's knit with 4.5 millimeter needles. So it's a worsted gauge or worsted weight yarn. I had 19 stitches and 24 inches. 24 rows is 4 inches. I used the Knit Picks wool of the Andes and worsted in the colorway Evergreen. And I did get it on sale, which is which motivated me to buy it. I even have extras, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet. But yeah, so this is it, and hopefully I can do justice by holding it up. Can I? I don't know. I can't even see like the viewfinder, so hopefully I'm doing it justice. It's essentially, it's a polo, right? It's a polo sweater. It's got a cute double knit button band. I have these cute green buttons, so very tonal. I did remember to make the buttonholes, so this button band does have buttonholes. There is a collar. My one regret, so here, the collar, if that helps at all, to be like this, I don't know. My one regret is I got lazy with double knitting the collar, and also like, look at this, like how cool. It honestly, it was the most magical thing making this. I don't even understand how it works. But, so yeah, really like cool pattern for sure. Yeah, so anyways, I got a little bit lazy with the collar and I stopped knitting, I think like a half inch early. I do deeply regret that. Like in the moment, I thought it was gonna be long enough and I was actually worried it was gonna be too long if I kept knitting. But now that I've seen it, I'll put it on actually. Now that I've seen it, English is escaping me. I just feel like it could be, I just think it would look a little bit more legit if the collar was longer. Like I think it would be closer to perfect if the collar was longer. A couple modifications I did, or actually, I guess we'll talk about the error first. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, but I made a mistake in this area of the sweater. And I was supposed to backwards loop cast on and I didn't. I just totally forgot. And it got to the point where I didn't want a frog. So I just like knit a panel of like 10 or 20 stitches. I knitted the right length and I grafted it to the sweater. So there is like a little grafting line here, which I wish I did a better job, but I don't know. At the time, I don't know. It kind of is what it is. I feel like unless I point it out, people are not going to notice. So let that happen. So far, it's actually been summer. So by the time I finished it, it was like too warm to wear it because it is wool. It's a little bit scratchy, so I'd probably want to wear like a long sleeve under it. And yeah, so the other modification I did, sorry, this was actually an error, but the modification I did do was I didn't feel like doing like the cuff sleeves. So I knit a straight sleeve and then I did an I-cord bind up. So I don't know, there's just something kind of classy about this to me for some reason. I just love the straight sleeve and the I-cord bind up. I think it's so cool. And I am kind of pretty excited to knit. There's a sweater, I can't even think of the name of it, but there's a sweater with, I think it's 2x2 ribbing and it's like a straight sleeve and I am excited to knit that. Sorry, I feel like I'm about to cough, so. Okay, just double checking. Yeah, and I knit size 1 in this. So yeah, I mean, hopefully this is socially acceptable, even though the collar I just feel like is a little bit short, sadly. But overall, I definitely remember enjoying the pattern. Something else that was kind of cool is the hem is actually like folded over and then there's like a purl row to give that like crispness. And I really made sure that I had that purl row in the perfect spot. Just so that, or more so that I seamed everything in the perfect spot, because I've had it before happen where the purl row is like a little bit off the center and I'm like, ugh, doesn't even have the right effect anymore. Okay, yeah, I think that's everything for the Gemma Polo. But yeah, 2 months, can't complain. I'm excited to actually wear it now that it's gonna start to get cold eventually. Oh my gosh. So the one thing I never spoke about though was, I'm gonna drop this on the floor. This, oh my God. So where do I begin? I mean, there's not much of a story, but essentially, the knitting page was talking about Papa Pink. I mean, I've always liked pink. Like, I've loved pink. I've had so much pink everything. long before pink was a popular color. Like I know that pink is really in right now because of Barbie, or potentially because of Barbie. And anyways, the knitting page, she's been making a lot of hot pink stuff. It really made me want to join in on the fun, and I also wanted to join her Cal. So I can't remember if I wanted to do this before the Cal, but then the Cal was like, oh, this is cool. So my first like knit along. So I joined it regardless. I have no idea. I can't even remember, but I wanted to essentially knit a cute hot pink tank top, and oh my god, yeah, and I have these hot pink pants that I just feel like I love them, and they're like a linen-y or cottony material. I really wanted to have a shirt that matched them, essentially, long story short. And then there's also the knit along that was going on, so then I was like, okay, perfect, I'm gonna make this shirt, it's gonna match my pants, it's gonna be like a cute pink and pink, you know, combo. And then I really wanted to have it for Portugal to wear there, and yeah, I could do knit along, and it was great. Life, you know, life's great. So I went with the Elsa tank top by, hold on, it's here, Amy Gunderson. It's honestly not as popular. Let me just double check maybe before I say that, but I feel like the design is not as popular, but she doesn't really give a lot of pattern information in general. And like when it's on Ravelry in the sizes available, it says small. The thing is though, I have the pattern, like I purchased the pattern because I'm a size small, so I figured, okay, either way, I'm good. But I did purchase the pattern, and they had sizes, let me just check, extra small to 5X in the pattern. So very much not just small, extra small to 5X, or bust 28 inches to 60 inches. So what I did was I just put it in the comments of the pattern on Ravelry, just saying these are the sizes available and this is the bust. That way, theoretically, if someone in the future is not sure, they can hopefully stumble upon my comment. But it doesn't look like she's updated it, so it still says sizes available small. But yeah, it's like, so it's a cute little, I don't even know how to describe it. You bottom up, so you start with the lace. It creates like this scallop. Hopefully you can see it okay. It's like a scallop lace. It's super duper cute. It's knit with a DK weight yarn, so 21 stitches and 28 rows is 4 inches. And it calls for, now, I kind of want to double check the pattern, but on the Ravelry it says 164 to 328 yards. So I think almost like a stash buster, especially if you're a smaller size, right? But regardless, 228 yards is really reasonable. Like that's like isn't it like a skein of sock yarn, like the 400 meter ones? I have the worst memory, so don't don't be sad or don't be mad. But you know, the big ones, like I bought them for the Vertices Unite, and I have so much yarn left over, so they were like the 400-ish meter ones. But yeah, okay, so that's what I'm wearing right now. Probably should talk about that. It actually happened to be the next one on my list too. So the yarn I got for this one, I don't have a skein anymore because I've already knit it. And it was very much yarn chicken. Like I swear I had like this much left. It was the Manos del Uruguay, I think, silk blend. And do I have more information on the yarn? I know it's on my Ravelry. Let's see. I just want to get the breakdown for you. So I used the colorway Cerise, which is 3047. It's beautiful. It's like kind of variegated, but really subtle. But it does have like these light stripes. They're almost like look like stripes. They're not, but you know, they have that effect. This is the way they cluster. And it's then, you know, the darker pink and then a little bit of a lighter pink. I really like this one. For one, it did match my pants perfectly. And for two, it's like weirdly a warmer hot pink. Like there's other hot pinks. I know High Fiber Knits has talked about this. There's other hot pinks that I find are very cool toned. And for me, I am 100%, I need to do the warm version of things. I just find that that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I just need warm tones. So it's a very warm hot pink. This is a DK weight yarn. It's 70% merino, 30% silk. So I think honestly it was the perfect choice for this top. The drape is perfect. The only complaint I have with the top is that the size, in terms of the size I knit, was where I think I measured my bust, and then I think I did knit the size small. Did I even log that? But geez, I'm freaking unorganized. Either way, I'm pretty sure I knit size small. I believe it was like a 32-inch bust, and the one thing that happened was actually my waist is smaller than my bust, and it's pretty much like knitting a rectangle. So I think in the future I would knit this again 100%, but I would do the size, the extra small actually. And then I'm sorry, I'm guessing if I'm a medium or if I'm a small. But I would do the extra small, and then I would just like knit it longer because it's gonna stretch out. Like it would be, I would want it to be like tight versus like this is a little bit drapey. So I want it to be tight, so it'd be stretching out. So I would definitely knit longer as well, just to account for that movement. And I would totally knit this again. And I hustled on this one. Like I was like, this needs to get done. And oh, here. So I started at July 31st and I finished it August 13th. So that's pretty good, given I have like school and work and other stuff. Like I had a bachelorette and all the fun things. So I think that's everything for this one. But yeah, also tank top, Amy Gunderson. Very like not popular. I haven't heard anyone else talk about it before. I just stumbled upon it and I'm like, wow, this is perfect. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, actually, I did do a modification though. So I don't know exactly what it was because I didn't even bother reading the instructions, but after you bind off everything, she asked you to pick up stitches, and it's like a garter stitch edging. I think it's like garter, 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 garter all around here, and garter all under the armholes too. And I had a feeling it was just gonna look kind of clunky. So what I did was I just did an I-cord edge, and it worked out well. And yeah, can't complain. So I-cord is definitely my favorite thing by far. Last but not least on my finished objects is the Montpellier top, which is by November Knits. I use this yarn, I've spoken about it before, but I got it at a Cambridge yarn outlet, and it's like a yarn that essentially they made a sample for, but they never produced it. And it was there. I just felt intrigued by it when I saw it at the store. I kind of bought way too much yarn when I was there, and it was called Bernat Flannelette, but never released. So I don't know if you can find it anywhere except for the outlet store. And it's like a cotton, is it cotton nylon? It might be 70% cotton. I swear my Ravelry is not showing. Like I know for sure I've added yarn for this, but I feel like it's not showing it, which is kind of frustrating. But let me just see if it's in my, I think what happened was I assigned yarn in my queue and it doesn't carry, for some reason, maybe it didn't carry through to the projects. No, it's so sad. I feel like I need to go, after this video, I'm gonna like update everything. But regardless, I believe it's 70% cotton, 30% nylon. This is a top, so it's actually, I would say it turned out good. Like, if anything, my only qualm with this was the style doesn't suit me as much as I hoped it would. I just felt like with my body shape, it just felt a little bit clunky. It could be because of the cotton yarn I used as well. And then, sorry, but like so many cool details. So like look at these, like the edging on the strap. I think it's such a cool idea. It's like a ribbed edging. You definitely can't wear a bra with this one, so that's also an inconvenience. But yo, honestly, it's pretty cool. Like I'm pretty sure I could tell someone this was commercially made and I bought it from H&M and they would believe me. I just wish it looked a little bit better on me, but you can't always win. I think another reason why it doesn't suit me as much is partially the color. It's a really, I do have a warm light above me, so it might be changing the color of literally everything I've shown you. but it's a really, really, really cool gray. And I just need like that bit of warmth for me, just to complement my skin tone better. Here, I'm all over. Yeah, that's the front. This is the front. And this is the back. So yeah, actually I'll put it on over top just to show you how it fits on me, but what size did I knit? I knit, oh, of course it's not gonna have anything I ever put in it. Why? Can someone tell me why all my stuff is gone? Did just nothing saved? Kind of annoying. I think, okay, so I have found that throughout the day it'll fall like this, and obviously like what is that? It looks bad. But if I just adjust it like this, it's not as bad, but I just find, I don't know, the way it sits on me, it's not the most flattering, but I still wear it. Like I honestly, I'll still wear it like to work, not to work, sorry, like to work from home, because I just feel like it doesn't matter as much, and then I still feel pretty cool for wearing something I made. So, and then do I have anything else? If my notes were here, it'd be great. But let me just actually click on the pattern. So it's a worsted weight, so it's knit in a worsted weight, by the way, gauge, 14 stitches and 20 rows equals 4 inches. I met gauge. I think the only adjustment I made was that instead of knitting on 5.5 millimeter needles, I knit, I believe, 0.5 lower. So I believe I knit on 5 millimeters. I almost feel like I knit, I know I put it in here, which is why I'm like, now like how all my notes are gone. This is like kind of devastating. All my notes on every project I did are gone. All my needles are gone. All my yarn assigned is gone. I don't fully understand. Kind of annoying. Because I definitely put notes. Either way, I'll be okay. Don't worry about me. That's it for my finished objects. So, I guess I'll quickly just go into, I have no idea how long it's been. 6:36. Maybe it's been, oh gosh, I have no clue. Okay. I'll just quickly talk about my fixed objects. And then my acquisitions, which is just nothing crazy, and I should move this. And then I'm gonna let you go, because it's been, I'm really sorry if you're here, but maybe it's entertaining, I don't know. Because I am kind of just talking to you like I'm talking to my sister, and I'm a little bit rambly. Like I'm not usually a composed person. I can be, but I have to be like prepared, and I wasn't really prepared. So the first adjustment to an object I've talked about before, it might have been my first podcast I ever made. I talked about what I made in the last 5 years. This Thomas tank was one of them. So it's by White Owl Crochet Co. I believe I knit a size, oh, I wish I opened the thing now. I'll put it on screen, just for the sake of time. So the one thing with this is I just found the straps were too long. I don't even know if that they necessarily stretched out. I just think they were too long to begin with. Ooh, sorry. So what I did, and it took a while, but I was like, you know what? Let's just like get this stuff done. So I just, it was tricky because this is Knit Picks palette. It's 100% wool, and I feel like the yarn almost like felt it together. So it was tricky, but I unraveled it and I pulled it back a ton. I don't even remember how much. And then I just re-seamed it. So it's not perfect, but honestly, it's way more wearable now. Like now I could actually wear a bra with this and not be showing anything. So up for debate on the straps, I'd have to do a strapless bra. But either way, I could wear a bra, and I have worn a bra with this, and now it doesn't show. So this is a Thomas tank. I usually use this side as the front, although it's actually technically the back. So this is technically the back, but I like to use it as a front. I just like the wider neck more. And then this is the front if you're actually interested in making it. And for me, this was a test knit that I did a while back. So I fixed the straps. Now it's way more wearable. It's just a little bit itchy, but I guess that's the price you pay for knitting with wool. So the other thing, and I never even removed the stitch marker, but I repaired or changed, was my George's Tank by Kolibribyjohanna. I knit this in a Pantone and Karen collaboration yarn. It was 100%, not 100%, but what is it called? Something by, the content is essentially bamboo. I can't remember, there's a specific name for it. The version I had in one of my previous podcasts had bows. What I found was that I did not love the stockinette bow in the sense that it curled in, so it just did not have, to me, a desirable effect. If it was double knit, it would probably be very, very different. But then another thing is, I instead of holding yarn, I think it's fingering yarn double or lace yarn double to meet gauge, I just held single with this, like, is it a worsted? Might be worsted or DK bamboo yarn. So what I did, just because the bows just did not have the desired effect, I unraveled the bows. There's a lot of yarn now that has been unraveled, and I tried to find a measurement that I liked in terms of like where it sits on me. Actually, I can put this on. And I also did some repairs in terms of like, there's like a little bit of the rowing out at the V here. So I tried to fix that too. Now it might look a little bit more clunky because it's on another shirt that's also knit. So now I would say the armholes are actually a bit tight, like you can see. But I just, once again, like I wanted to be able to wear a bra. Like sometimes you just don't want to always wear pasties, or you just don't want to have to worry about it. So I really like shortened the straps and seam them together. This is actually essentially an option in the pattern. Like you can do no bows, you can do with bows, and then there's an in-between option I think that you can do as well. The only thing I don't love about this, and now that I've experienced I-cord edges, is like this stockinette with the raw edge here. It's also not like the prettiest raw edge either. So I am debating putting an I-cord edge on this and just like, I think it will really clean it up. I think the front's tolerable, it's just the straps. However, I will say they do kind of roll in, which also kind of works at hiding the raw edge. So that's up for debate. But that was my adjustment I made to this one. And then my very last thing to talk about is acquisitions. So when I was at that yarn festival in Bracebridge, I heard High Fiber Knits talking about these, and then I saw them and I'm like, I need to get these, because for one, I already needed like 3mm and 2.5mm needles. I've come across patterns where I'm like, ooh, I can't make this yet because I don't have the right needles. So I bought the Collage square needles. Big investment. So I trusted Emily, even though I don't even know her, but I trusted her on the fact that these will be good for my hands. And either way, I was gonna have to buy needles. So I invested in theoretically something that will be the most beneficial, choice I could have made. I haven't tried them yet. They're still sealed. But yeah, I got the 2.5 and the 3, it's 3mm. Oh, I was reading the US size. I got US 2.5s and US 3s, or 3.25mm, which I don't have yet, and then 3mm. There you go. I might never ever try to knit with 2.5 millimeters, but you never know. So yeah, and then they're the 24-inch circulars, so I'm hoping that will do the trick in terms of like cord length. Excuse me. I guess it'd be a tight squeeze if I was gonna knit a sweater, but it's tricky. It's hard to predict. Like I didn't actually have a pattern in mind when I bought these, so. Okay, I think that's everything. So yeah, I'm really sorry. I promise I will be better at my next video, but I hope that you enjoyed, because maybe you like rambly people, maybe you like people who forget what they're saying, and hopefully I didn't forget anything major. But yeah, thanks for sticking with me. I really want to try to actually be more consistent. Like the point of me doing this video is like showing myself that I can do videos at the same time as school, at the same time as work. So I'm gonna work on it. It's gonna happen. I really would like to make a fall planning video. So if you'd like to see more of me and theoretically slightly more organized version of me, please subscribe. And if you want, like, comment down below any thoughts on all my rambling. And I think the one last thing is, next time I see you, it'll be after Portugal. So I might have a good solid whip to share with you that I didn't talk about. I meant to, but it didn't happen. So, yeah. So yeah, thanks again. See you later.